Right. What are we going to do with this light? So I don't normally do a live at this time, but I just made a little video, and I was going to share the video, but I thought it might be interesting to actually share what the video was about. So this is ready. It's just gone to press. We're just looking at it, and I thought it would be nice for you to see how it works. So I know lots of you have been waiting for this lining template, and you've been really sort of excited about it. It's taken a little while. It's taken a little longer to make and put into production, and it wasn't just the production of the template that was the issue. It was the cost of the production, and I was trying to find somewhere that could do it that wasn't that expensive. Obviously, it's not a cheap thing. You know, it's 3 mil thick. It's quite robust. There's tons of cuttings and hole piercings and etching, and it's pretty complicated. So there is a lot to it that made it not cheap to make. But we were able to find somewhere that was able to substantially bring the cost down. The next issue was the manufacturers said to me, so now that you've done this, we also need the packaging. And I was like, what? So I had to design packaging so that this could sit within the packaging and be robust and not get damaged. I mean, if you drop this on the floor, it's not going to break. Look, I'm bending it and it's not breaking. It's 3 mil thick. It's really, really, really robust. Now, I know you guys love ruling lines, right? You just love it. So, so I thought I would make something to help you work with ruling lines a little bit easier. I also thought I would make something that would help you use my pads a little bit more easily. I had asked Rhodia to make a pad at 6 mil, which is what the pad is. So that's the pad. It's at 6 mil. Those of you know it. The blue pad, the gray pad, the black pad, they're all at 6 mil. And for those of you just tuning in, we're looking at the lining template, which is just going into production. So I thought I would show you how it works. Butter hands. So in Trinidad, we say, oh, you've just eaten too many okras. So I'm going to show you how the template works. I'm really, really excited to show you this because I've been on about this for ages. And then, of course, I got COVID and I was ill. And then all of that all of that happened. All right, so let's swap this around and show you how this template works. Okay, so I have some drawing pins and some thumbtacks. All right. Okay, so that's the pad, right? I'm going to show you the black pad. And at its simplest, thanks, Roxana. At its simplest, this is what happens. So my reasoning, my principal reasoning for this was to make something which I could halve the 3 mil height. Now I see lots of people using the pads and they're not sort of touching the lines because they're quite high. So this template helps you to make, at its simplest, a 3 mil height line. Now there are two sizes of holes. We have a thumbtack hole and we have a drawing pin hole. So there are two sizes of holes. So what I've done is, at its simplest, I'm going to rule up a 3 mil height line. So what I'm doing is I'm making sure the bottom of a cut is on those printed lines. Now, you do need to be a little bit careful lining them up. There's tons of little etched areas for you to hold down. If you're right-hander and you have small hands, you can hold here. If you're a right-hander and you have big hands, you could hold here. Obviously, if you're a left-hander, you can hold here with your right hands, or if you have big hands, you hold here. I generally, I mean, I have large hands, so I generally hold here because these big sort of areas are etched. And then I take one of the drawing pins and I put it there. It doesn't matter if it goes into the paper, you know, the paper's, it's going to resist it for the most part. And I'm going to put a third one in the middle there. So let's just put that in a little bit deeper. So you can see it's not moving. It's moving a little bit, but you know, I'm just going to hold that in place. Now we put little markings, little etched dashes. So you can either rule up every other line, and remember every other line skips an interlinear space, so you have a really nice space to write with. Or if you're working bigger, you can rule up every other cut. And so I go here to here, then I drop down to the next cut and I go along, then I drop down to the next cut and I go along. And because the template is so robust, it doesn't flex when you're writing. Right. So let's take this. Oh, so I would make a little mark here. And a little mark here. And one here. And one here. The reason for that is it's entirely up to you. If you want to work there, you could even mark off in the middle there and rule a line so that you're actually working there, just in case you just want to do some decoration here. I like a box so that I'm working within the box. So I'm going to put that there. I'm going to line that up to there, and I'm going to rule to there. So the edges are straight. There's imperial markings here. They're just gradations. They're not numbered, and there's inches on this side. So I'm going to rule up here as well. There we go. So we have a nice sort of internal box place. So the lettering iPad, this is about ruling lines. You know, you can use it without a pencil. You can use a really, really fine scoring tool. So I have some scoring tools like this. So you can score. These are really, really fine scoring tools. Or you can use a sharp point. Where is that thing? You know, I was looking for this. Oh, here it is. You can use a really sharp point to score them if you're working on watercolor paper. Just remember, if you're going to score them, it'll break the surface of the paper. Right. So that rules up the lines. The next thing I'm going to do, so that's the simplest thing that you can do. The next thing I'm going to do is I push my paper up at the back and then I pull. So it comes off really nice and clean, and it tears the edges off there really clean. And that's your 3mm height line. And because it's skipped every other one further down, you don't have to worry about that space. Here I've ruled every cut. And so it gives you a really, really good sort of X height to work in. This height is great for the smaller Sakura pens like the 5 and the 6. The bigger height, which is the 6mm, is great for the 10. And then Yes, Echo, it is really just, you know, everything but the kitchen sink. Now, I'm going to, so you can see here, you can see here that there are gradations. So they're upside down this way because in the middle, you want to see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It goes up to, it starts 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 at the top. When you want to rule 1 to 5, you flip it over and you see that little edge there? You make sure that little edge is just the top of the edge, the top of the line is on the underside of the line above it. And then there's some, obviously, the holes everywhere. Then you could pin this in place and pin that in place. And look, it's not moving. You just have to be careful with how you pin it in place. And then you rule to the baseline. Now, because this is 1 mil, I would do every cut. So I'm holding it in place. But the pins, the drawing pins really hold it in place quite nicely as well. Okay. So I've done that. Let's take those out. And so you have a 1 mil ruling. Now, once I've done that, take that 3 mil height line. So you see here it says 5, 10, 30, 35, 45, 52, 55, then 60, 70, 75, 80, 85, right? So that really helps you to rule up different kinds of angles. So obviously, if you're going to write italic, you might want it 5 degrees, which is 85, off the vertical, so that's 5. Or if you're writing your italic at 10 degrees off the vertical, that's your 10-degree line. So, and because these don't, I mean, you have to really push to make them flex. So I'm going to rule up for copper plate script. So there is a, let's just get the pad back. So if you want to rule up the pad for copper plate script, so that the 3 mil, this 1 mil is still there, we go to the 55 here, and just move this up a little bit. We go to the 55 here, and we take the thicker pins, and we put it here, and we put this here. So that's held in place quite firmly, and you can rule up, or you do this. And so this can move up and down the pad. So you obviously don't do that. You want to keep that line this way. So you can rule up the sides. So what I would do is I would rule up. So I'm going to rule every other line. So I'm going to stick with my little markings. And then I'm going to skate up. So the only issue is the block. This block sometimes is an issue. So what I do is I take this off. And I obviously take the pins out, the thumbtacks out. And then, because I know I've done the marked lines, I'm going to line up the marked lines to the marked lines. But I'm also going to line up this 55 line on a line. So I have some, some registration. So we can hold here and here. And we're going to there and there, there. So we're just extending those lines up. And we need to bring them down here. So that's easy enough. There's a 55 up there. So we can line that up to one of the dropped lines. So it's like a little puzzle. It's not a complex puzzle. And then we go down and down and down and down and down. So we have a whole page that's ruled up beautifully for 55-degree lines. Now, equally, you could have a template with just 55-degree cuts, but it doesn't do as much as this does. Right. So now that we've done that, we have a nice ruled sheet. So I'm going to use the 1 mil height. That's the 1 mil height. And I'm going to use it on the sheet of paper. So I had actually planned on doing some writing. So I will show you how wonderfully this works. Now I'm going to have to zoom in for this because this is going to be really, really tiny writing. Okay. So this is writing at 1 millimeter in height. I mean, it's really, really tiny. So you could just see it down there. And, I know a lot of people who write Spencerian script like to write on a baseline. I like to have an X height. I've always liked to have an X height. So let's so I'm going to use my PAScribe. And I'm using some of the ligatures that I taught in the workshop on the weekend. So this is at 1 mil in height. This is really, really great to work at. Obviously, if you want to use other tools, there are lots of other tools that you can work with. You know, the SOOOOO jelly rolls. So these come in a really great new set, and they are really, really fine. So that's really, really quite important. But you can see the accuracy because there's an X height. So that really, really does help. That really does help when it comes to the sort of understanding of more accurate script. And that's, you know, that was the aim of the lining template. It was there to sort of, I wanted something that would really help with more accurate writing and more accurate ruling of lines. So I see there's tons of comments and questions. Let me just go back and see what's happening here. Right. Oh, thanks so much, Coffee and Calligraphy. You know, it's. So Saucy creates the horizontal lines are on the pad, they're 6 mil. And on the template, there are 3 mil cut so that you can rule up accordingly. Will this work on handmade papers? It leaves traces of lines behind. So this is for ruling lines on you know, for writing with lines. You know, as I said before, if you want to try writing, if you want to try ruling up with a scoring tool, that's entirely up to you. The template will accommodate that. Thank you so much, Jane. I'm glad you think it's really nice. Right, 2 size pinholes, 2 hands every size. Yeah. So I'm just showing this to you now. Once the template comes out, you know, it's gone to manufacturing. So once it goes out, once we have them in house, then we'll start talking about some pre-order. This is very helpful, especially regarding the X height. Thanks, Annie. That's great. Oh, Coffee and Calligraphy. I'm sold. I need this. That's brilliant. I'm very, very happy to hear that. Oh, that's great, bad cartoonist. If you could send me that, that would be super. So obviously, you know, I wasn't zooming in because I wanted you to see working at 1 mil. I know when you think writing at 1 mil, it sounds like it's an impossibility, but seeing it being written as sort of overall is really, really quite special. So it'll be released. We're hoping to start shipping in the middle of April. I will get back to you on that. The pre-order page will be up soon. So I'm just going to So I've just done some Spencerian, so I've augmented Spencerian script into something that I call PAScribe, which is something we'll teach later on in the year. So I'm going to write some copperplate script. Okay. So that's the script written at 1 mil in height. And so the guidelines at that size are really useful. If you're writing some PAScribe as well, it works excellently for PAScribe. Right, so I see some more questions coming up. Okay, so there you go, really tiny writing. Unfortunately, because the writing is, because I have a baseline and an X height, it really dramatically helps with the accuracy of the script. Right, so, yay, finally, so excited. When the pre-order page is up, we will let you know once the pre-order page is up, and you can go and pre-order it. And so I'm using a Gillot 303 for the 1 mil writing, but you can use so this is a Pentel 0.3, or you can use a Sleechy. So these are the Sleechys. So the Sleechys are 0.25, and they're great for writing. If I did the 1 mil on the gray pad, I would have written with a black or a blue or orange Sleechy, and it's just amazing how accurate that you can write once you have an X height. So anyway, so exciting. As soon as we have information on the pre-order, we will put it up and we will let you know, and then you can order them. I'm so excited. I'm so excited I could scream. I'm so excited to be able to bring something to you that will really dramatically increase your ability to write more accurately. So like I said, once we have information on the pre-order page, we will put it up and we will let you know. So give us, I think, a week and a half, possibly 2 weeks, and we will have that up for you soon. I will also get some information back from the manufacturers on the final price and the and the delivery date. Of course, the price will vary depending on shipping, because obviously with COVID, shipping costs have gone up dramatically. There is a scaling structure on the website. I've seen it, and it just shows you where different regions have different shipping costs, and how much it will cost, how much additional it will cost, and how much longer it will take to do so. So Rachel, I've done the template. It's at the beginning of this. So I'll post this. I'll post this in my IGTV. By all means, share it with anybody who you think might be interested in it. The more people we have ordering it, the better. So thank you very much. Thank you so much, and I will speak with you guys soon. Bye bye.